Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, brother of Dogpaw killed in alleged confrontation with the cops. The news understands that the brother of former gang leader Christopher Dogpaw Linton was killed on Friday night. Roger Linton was reportedly killed in an alleged confrontation with the police in St. Andrew, where a weapon was allegedly seized. Police said they were aware of the incident but could not provide details. Police searching for driver after Porta Maria crash. An early morning accident on the Stuart Town Main Road has left 3 people nursing injuries and the driver being sought by the police. Reports are that around 6 a.m. on Friday, a white Toyota Mark X motorcar was traveling from Porta Maria to Ocherios when it lost control near the Emerald Estate housing scheme and crashed into a tree. The driver of the vehicle is said to have fled the scene, while the passengers were taken to the St. Anne's Hospital, where they were admitted for their injuries. The St. Mary Police Traffic Department is investigating the identity of the driver. Retired soldier charged for alleged involvement in farm work scam. A retired soldier has been charged in relation to a farm work scam through which he allegedly defrauded 2 women more than $1 million in June this year. 56-year-old Philip Panton is charged with obtaining money by means of false pretense as well as conspiracy charges. The Portmore police alleged that Panton and another man informed the 2 women that they could guarantee them a place on the farm work program in the United States or Canada for a cost of $100,000. The women allegedly paid a total of $1,085,000 to the men, who would periodically provide updates on the progress. The women later learned via social media posts that Panton had allegedly swindled the money from other persons. A report was made to the police, and Panton, who had been previously charged with similar offenses, was again charged following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. His court date is yet to be finalized. St. James, a businessman accused of defrauding church group, remanded. The St. James, a businessman accused of defrauding a church group of more than $3 million, has been remanded. Dominic Shaw, a 37-year-old resident of Montego Bay, was denied a bail when he appeared before the St. Andrew Parish Court last week. He is scheduled to return to court next month. Shaw was charged 2 weeks ago with a fraudulent conversion, failure to deliver goods on contracted date, and the possession of criminal property after a St. Catherine-based church filed a complaint with the fraud squad. Investigators reported that in February last year, Mr. Shaw, who is the operator of cheap travel vacations and events, was paid the sum of $3.2 million by a church in Portmore for a vacation trip to an all-inclusive hotel in St. James. The accused allegedly received the funds on 3 separate occasions between February and September 2023. The period of stay for the church group was 5 days in October 2023. But a few days before the trip, the church was informed that no money was paid over to the hotel on their behalf. When contacted by the church group, the accused allegedly agreed to refund the monies, but despite numerous promises, the money was not repaid. The matter was then reported to the fraud squad. Shaw was arrested on December 7 after he was placed on the JCF's wanted Wednesday list 3 weeks earlier. Curfew imposed in section of Dunkirk. A 48-hour curfew has been imposed in sections of Brownstown, Dunkirk, Kingston 16. The curfew began at 6 p.m. on Friday and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. on Sunday. The boundaries of the curfew are as follows: north along an imaginary line from Banana Street to North Avenue, east along West Avenue from North Avenue to Windward Road, south along Windward Road from West Avenue to Wilder Street, west along Wilder Street from Windward Road to Banana Street. During the hours of the curfew, all persons within its boundaries are required to remain in their premises unless otherwise authorized by the ground commander. Westmoreland construction worker charged with murder. 42-year-old construction worker Dwight Williams has been charged with murder and the possession of a prohibited weapon following an incident in his community of Gordon District in White House, Westmoreland on October 3. 32-year-old Ryan Blair, a mason of Gordon District, White House, Westmoreland, was killed in the incident. The Savannah Lamar police say about midnight, Blair was sitting on a bench in his yard when he was pounced upon by two armed men who opened the gunfire, hitting him multiple times. The police were alerted, and upon their arrival, Blair was seen lying face down in the yard with a gunshot wounds to the head and upper body. He was assisted to the hospital by the police, where he was pronounced dead. On December 15, Williams, who was a suspect in another incident, turned himself into the police. He was subsequently charged for Blair's murder on Monday, following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. His court date is being finalized. Barbara Gale murder accused was beaten, chased out of his community. News sources are reporting that Travis Ellis, the man charged with the murder of retired journalist Barbara Gale, was chased from the community of Gulf in Portmore, St. Catherine, after he gave conflicting stories about how he acquired the GLA 180 Mercedes-Benz motor vehicle he was seen driving. According to the sources, hours after news broke about Gale's murder, Ellis was seen driving around the community in the grey high-end vehicle. Him tell some people that him rent the Benz, and him tell others that him rich uncle buy it for him, said one news source. But the man them never believe him, and them beat him and tell him that him could not stay in the area. I just true man and man rate him father who died some time ago. That was why him never get worse, the source added. It is believed that under pressure from the men in the Gulf area, Ellis ditched the vehicle in bushes along the Dyke Road, which is also in Portmore. But when him abandoned the van, him could not come back a Gulf, and him could not go Kemanas Bay where him have family. So we believe that was why he was hiding in the bushes when the police them find him, said the source. Ellis reportedly grew up in the area known as Gulf, where his father was a popular bus conductor. He shared his time between Gulf and the Kemanas Bay, where he is believed to have family members. The sources say it was in Kemanas Bay that he met a gardener who did work for several residents in the Kemanas Country Club estate housing scheme. The gardener give him some work, but him collect money for the man and hide from him. But because the people them who live there were used to seeing him over there, them never know that he was no longer connected to the gardener. That is how him could reach the journalist's house to sit down and talk with her. And we believe him kill her for the Benz, added one source. Ellis has reportedly confessed to killing Gale and is expected to enter a guilty plea when he appears in the St. Catherine Parish Court. He is facing charges of murder and robbery with aggravation. Gale was found dead at her home in the gated community of Kemanas Country Club Estate on December 17. Her body had multiple stab wounds and a gash to her face. Her motor vehicle, which was stolen, was found a day later in bushes close to where Ellis was held. Several people and entities reacted with a shock and horror at the killing of the veteran journalist who made her name as a fair and accurate court reporter during her more than 50 years in the newsroom at the Gleaner. Among those to condemn Gale's killing was former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson, King's Counsel, who interacted with her over many years. According to Patterson, Gale's brutal murder is a wake-up call for Jamaica and underscores the urgent need for the nation to re-examine its values and prioritize those that are life-sustaining. Anger and greed must give way to caring and tolerance at every level, Patterson said. He added, the solution to the national dilemma has to begin with acknowledging the sacredness of life, the belief that one's own life is of intrinsic value, that necessitates valuing and treating others with respect. NSWMA commits to clearing backlog of garbage. The National Solid Waste Management Authority has committed to garbage-free streets and homes after operations were temporarily paused for the Christmas holidays. Executive Director Audley Gordon told the news that the agency had encountered a series of setbacks amid persistent rainfall between August and late November, which also affected the dirt trucks at the disposal sites. This has resulted in a pileup of garbage in some areas, but Mr. Gordon says the authority has been working overtime to ensure timely collection of garbage and bulky waste. Mr. Gordon explained that the measures have been implemented to stave off a garbage backlog crisis following the Christmas and the Boxing Day activities.
We've instituted a round-the-clock operation in the last 2.5 to 3 weeks as we approach the Christmas season. We go deep into the night, so I'm talking to people on the road like 1 a.m. They are still out there collecting. We know that is problematic for some people because the heavy trucks going through the community create noise nuisance. As it relates to where we are now in terms of garbage collection for the Christmas, we were able to keep the town centers and the main roads in a pretty decent shape. We've gotten all the Christmas grand market garbage out of the space. We are now back on track in terms of what our regular collections ought to be, and we are working now to kind of keep the communities in a state that they would have been in post-Christmas. We will not get back on regular scheduling before probably about mid-January, because while we are normal in terms of the Christmas garbage, we still have from the 3-4 months of slowed operation. So we just ask for understanding after you properly containerize your garbage to make it easier for the crew when they come. You can just take up and move on, and that gives a more efficient service. And we are just going to keep going at it until we get every nook and cranny back on the schedule.
Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.